We about to jump into some NFL rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
We've got 9 questions for you tonight. 2 of them come from some Facebook fans, and we're going to start off rapid fire with one of those. This question comes from Will on Facebook. Will, you've been contributing a bunch so far. We owe you a koozie. I promise you it's coming to you. We just got to figure out the logistics with the mail, get some envelopes, or the next time you see Storm, we can just hand off a koozie in person. Anyway, Will's question is about Cam Newton, who has recently come out and said that he would welcome a trade to the Chicago Bears. Now, Storm, do you think this is going to happen? And if so, would it be a good fit?
I think it has the potential to happen. There's definitely some legs there, and I think it would be a good fit. You know, everyone keeps talking about Matt Nagy being a great offensive coordinator. He comes from that Andy Reid tree, and who does Andy Reid succeed well? Quarterbacks that can move and throw the ball just enough. That's what Cam Newton does. Mitch Trubisky sure as hell ain't doing that. So, yeah, absolutely. Why not? That defense is primed to win now. You got to give him probably another weapon, maybe a better running back. Well, no, they have Montgomery, so we'll see what he comes up with. But, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think he would be a good fit there, but I don't know if he'll end up a Chicago Bear. It depends who gives the it depends who gives the Carolina Panthers the best offer.
Right.
Tennessee could decide that they want some Cam Newton and give a better offer.
Right. You got to think Chicago doesn't have much after what they gave up for Max.
I think there's about 3 or 4 teams that could really use a Cam Newton right now. I think you look at Chicago. I think you look at Tennessee. I think you look at the Chargers, who are about to move, and Cam Newton might be a nice transition piece when they go officially move to L.A. So it depends who gives the best offer. Because if people are interested, Carolina's not just going to cut him. I know he's only a $2 million cap hit, but they're going to try and get something for him. All right, thank you, Will, for that question. Question numero dos. After seeing them face off head-to-head this weekend, which New York team, the Jets or the Giants, should feel better about their quarterback of the future?
I don't know. Neither one of them really looked that good. They both look pretty crappy. But I'll stick with Sam Darnold right now. I think at this point, who comes down to getting a better coach, and one of those New York teams better have a coach by the name of Matt Rule next year.
That's a good point. Matt Rule is definitely worthy of an NFL job. But I agree with you. I'm leaning Sam Darnold as well. Just like you, I'm not in love with either of them right now. Yeah. Daniel Jones fumbles the ball too much. Sam Darnold throws a few too many interceptions.
They both turn over. Sam Darnold turns over last time.
But I like Darnold's physique. I like his stature, and I think he's a bit better of an arm talent. So I'll go with Darnold right now. Question number 3. After all this talk of tanking, do you think the Dolphins are even going to land the top 3 pick this year?
So right now they're in position to be a top 5 pick, I think.
Top 5? That's not good enough, though. If you're tanking, it's top 3 or nothing.
I know. And I think they will wind up in the top 3 was all said and done. I think they'll wind up losing that second game to the Jets, right? Mm-hmm. And then, I think Atlanta will be good for 1 or 2 more games. So I think Dolphins stay at 2. I think they have a pretty tough schedule going forward. But, I mean, let's be honest. Cincinnati has the number 1 locked up.
Oh, it's locked up. Ryan Finley made sure of that.
And I don't even know what to think about Washington. I mean, they have Dwayne Haskins, so number 2 might as well be locked up for them as well.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I want to say yes, but, like, number 1 is Cincinnati. Number 2 is probably going to be Washington right now because I don't see them winning a game the rest of the season. And then Miami, like, they get Cincinnati, like, week 16 or 17.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, yeah.
Again. Miami could be a 4-win team because they play hard, so I think I'm leaning towards no. Now,
who's after Josh Rosen and Fitzmagic? Because that's who they need to start playing.
Throw Kalen Ballage. Just run the Wildcat the rest of the season, guys. Come on. Now, the good news is for them is that the teams ahead of them, other than Cincinnati, probably aren't going to go for a quarterback because you got Cincinnati. Washington has Haskins. The Jets aren't moving off of Darnold. Atlanta's sticking with Matt Ryan if they fall in there. So Miami's basically going to get the quarterback that Cincinnati doesn't want. And I'm not even opposed to them passing on a quarterback this year, stockpiling more picks, later rounds, and you go after Trevor Lawrence next year. You put together a hell of a package get him and really move forward.
For sure.
All right, question number 4. Should the Tennessee Titans, who just lit up that Kansas City defense, feel comfortable with former Miami Dolphin quarterback Ryan Tannehill moving forward?
I mean, for the rest of this year, absolutely over Marcus Mariota. But I still think they should look at taking a quarterback, doing their due diligence. Tannehill's playing all right. I mean, he's not gonna wow anybody into a Super Bowl. I don't think so. You got to move forward and look for somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, he's just underwhelming. He's a 9-7 quarterback that could get you to the playoffs, maybe win you a wild card game, but like I've said before on the show, he's just slightly better than Marcus Mariota, but almost a carbon copy, man. Like, I know he's playing a little bit better this year, but Mariota's had years where he's played all right and gotten 9-7.
These quarterbacks are going to get hot when they get hot. I mean,
we've said it before. You either need a quarterback that's on a rookie deal so you can have a great team around them, or you need a next-level top-5 guy if you actually want to compete for a Super Bowl. So, like you said, maybe a year or two so you can groom a young quarterback. That's fine, but nah, he's not a quarterback of the future. He's a good backup. All right, question number 5, I believe. Losing track. Is it time to start talking about Phillip Rivers the way that we've all talked about Eli Manning for the past, 2.5 years?
Man, we're certainly getting to that point. I mean, Phillip Rivers hasn't been turning the ball over at the rate that Eli Manning did those last couple of years, but he does have 10 picks.
Man.
He has looked bad. I think if we see this through the rest of this year, and he starts next year and he starts doing this at the beginning of next year, yeah, I'm putting him in the Eli talk. You got to think, Eli's coming off like a 7-year regression almost at this point, and Phillip Rivers isn't there yet. So I'm not there yet, but I am about 3/4 of the way there.
I'm right where you're at. I'm almost there. And you kind of made the point. Eli, it was just clear for multiple years that he was going downhill. Phillip Rivers had a pretty good season last year. Obviously led his team to an AFC divisional playoff game. Had a pretty good touchdown interception ratio, but he just looks like he's lost a little bit. And for an immobile, standstill quarterback like him, dropping a little bit is really going to make you look bad. Like, his accuracy is just a tick off. That deep ball doesn't look the same way it used to. And he's turned the ball over too much. Like, he's not washed yet, but the Chargers really have to start thinking about replacing him sooner rather than later. So Nick Foles returns this week. Do you think the Jags are going to look better or worse with him under center?
I think over time they'll look better. I think he does definitely have some rust to shake off. I mean, he didn't get much time with the Jags to begin with before he got hurt, so there's going to be some rust. There's going to be some, I guess, acclimacy. Is that a good word?
Yeah,
maybe.
He's going to have to acclimate himself.
Acclimate himself. Yeah. So, I think it's going to be a little rough against Indy. It's a pretty good defense, but going forward, I think they will look better.
Yeah, I agree. Like in this game, it might not show, but going forward, they're going to look slightly better because he is slightly better than Gardner Minshew, if only for experience. And we've seen Nick Foles prove that, especially in big games, he can ball out and win you some games. So I heard Calais Campbell talking about him, and he, just like everyone else who plays with Nick Foles, freaking loves him. He was asked, who's the best quarterback in the league? Nick Foles.
I wonder if they have a shrine in the locker room for him yet, like Chris Long did.
A Minshew and a Foles shrine next to each other. Oh, my gosh, it'd be fantastic. All right. Question number 740, wherever we're at. Are there any teams that should try and sign Dez Bryant? He's shown some workout videos, which is, I think T.O. started that trend, like showing you lifting weights in the driveway or whatever. Should any team take a shot with him?
Listen, if there's two teams that should take a shot at him, they're right in this state where we're recording, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles and Pittsburgh Steelers. Both wide receiver needy right now. Why not? Give it a shot. Who cares?
You know what? I had no here at first because I don't think the Eagles could really use him. They don't need a receiver like Dez because he's slow. He's not a great route
that can
runner.
Catch a damn ball.
And he's always been dependent on athleticism. Well, coach your receivers better. Put some more stickum on those gloves. But now, actually, that you say the Steelers would be a good fit for him right now. He's a good possession receiver. It would help to open Juju up. And they already have speed guys in Washington. And who's the other guy?
I don't know.
Anyway, the other guy who lit the
Deontay Johnson or something
right.
like that. Yeah.
So, no, I think the Steelers is actually a good call there. You changed my mind. Look at that. Anything can happen on NFL Rapid Fire, guys. Next question. Is it time for the Colts to cut Adam Vinatieri, who has already missed 11 kicks this year?
Yes. You got to move on. I don't care what you find. You'll probably find someone better than him. I understand what he's done in his career and for the Colts franchise, and there's probably some emotional attachment there. But, dude, he's costing you games. You got to move on.
Yeah, it's just sad to watch because of the historic kicks that he basically kick-started that New England dynasty.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's hit so many big kicks for this Indy team, but you saw San Fran was able to literally drag someone off of his couch
and shank one in overtime. But I see what you're saying.
Although he did make the one. I meant to mention that during that segment. He made the one to put them into overtime. So I did feel some sort of way about the Monday Night Crew saying that the moment was too big for him.
Yeah,
BS. The dude he went 3
the
or
Monday
4.
Night Crew's clueless. Anyway,
Yeah, that is true. But no, it's Adam Vinatieri, nothing but respect, but it's time for you to go. And he wanted to go. They had to beg him to come back in the offseason. This is what you beg for, guys? Chris Ballard has done so much good for that Colts organization. This, I think, is his worst call. All right. Anyway, our last question, we sandwich this rapid fire with Facebook questions. This last one comes from Nick on Facebook. And he has a question about some of the non-first round quarterbacks this year. So do any of the non-first round QBs that are making their first starts this year? So I narrowed it down a little bit, but we're looking at Mason Rudolph, Ryan Finley, Kyle Allen, Brandon Allen, Gardner Minshew. So none of them were drafted in the first round.
Right.
Do any of them have a future as a franchise quarterback in the NFL?
When I look at the two that stick out to me the most right now is Kyle Allen, obviously because it looks like Cam Newton's played his final steps, and it'll be Kyle Allen taking over there going forward. The other one I look at is Gardner Minshew. I mean, do they move on from Nick Foles? We'll see what happens. I mean, he electrified him a little bit, had his moments, but, I mean, for a rookie sixth-round pick, he looked like he belonged in the NFL. And then, a lot of people are like, well, what about Mason Rudolph? I just don't think he's shown enough yet. That offense is pretty stagnant. They really haven't been moving the ball. They're being put in good places because of that defense is tops in the league right now. So those two are my definites. And Ryan Finley, Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen's going to be competing with Drew Lock. Ryan Finley, who knows what's going to happen with him. I mean, he looked like trash in Cincy against Baltimore.
Yeah, he did. And granted, it was against a pretty good secondary in Baltimore, but I'm kind of with you. The first guy, or the number one guy on the list for me is Gardner Minshew. Just the way that he stayed composed in that offense, especially without some of the skill players that Kyle Allen has. I think Gardner Minshew definitely has a future as a starter in this league. He just has that moxie, that swag. Kyle Allen, I'm kind of confident in, but still a little unsure about. They've really ridden that run game, and that can lead to a pretty prosperous future in the NFL, but I'm not sure. Mason Rudolph, maybe?
Yeah, I just haven't seen enough there yet. I mean, he's had some great throws, but he's looked really bad.
I don't love him.
And then, granted, they don't have really a running back right now, but I don't know.
Yeah, and then Brandon Allen,
there.
Ryan Finley, I don't feel confident. Probably not, but it's too early to tell.
Yeah.
All right, that wraps up this week's edition of NFL Rapid Fire.